Students return to the classroom without at-home COVID tests they were promised. The problem and who's to blame.
Plus, higher COVID numbers lead to fewer firefighters and an emergency brownout. We hear from San Diego's fire chief.
The new organics recycling law went into effect January 1st. What you need to know.
Plus, a treat for stargazers in Earth 8 that's out of this world.
And rescued from a backyard in Escondido, Hannah is celebrating 20 years of hippo heaven.
News 8 starts right now.
Kids heading back to school, but where are their COVID tests? Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price in for Carlo.
And I'm Marcella Lee. News 8's Shannon Handy shows us the frustration some parents are facing trying to get their kids tested before heading back to class.
Again, it's not just Poway Unified. Other districts are going through the same thing, including Sweetwater. Now, a spokesperson with the County Office of Education says the California Department of Public Health is responsible for this delay. I did reach out to them today, but at this point have not heard back.
Having the test definitely helps.
Jennifer Sumber's daughter is a fourth grader at Jones Elementary within the San Diego Unified District. Before winter break, she was given 2 at-home COVID tests to take prior to returning, something all students were asked to do.
She brought it home, and then we read the instructions of the paper, the form that she brought, saying to do it on December 31st, 3 days before, and then also on Monday morning, January 3rd, the day of, to go back to school.
Other districts within the county planned on doing the same. They were relying on the state to provide those tests, something Governor Newsom's office promised back in December. The problem, they never received a shipment. Poway Unified is one of them.
We were making plans for distribution on Sunday, and then we heard that the tests weren't coming, and not only that, we had no idea when or if the test would be coming. And so that was extremely frustrating, not only for us, but for our families and staff and everyone gearing up to return to school and trying to do it as safely as possible.
Poway Unified families received this email Sunday letting them know they wouldn't be getting tests and recommending they try elsewhere or keep their kids home if they're sick. That left several families scrambling. Lauren DiCaprio is a parent of 2 and a teacher in the Poway district.
We went to multiple, stores trying to find home tests. We went to San Marcos, which was at the time we were told a 5-hour line to attempt to test, and then we weren't even sure when the results would come in.
Though the tests aren't required as a precaution, Lauren kept her 4th and 5th graders home today. They were able to schedule a test and hope to return tomorrow. She and others say it's not the back-to-school experience they were hoping for.
I think that everyone wants to do right by the circumstances, but it's hard to do that when you don't have options.
And again, it's not just Poway that's still waiting on those tests. Other districts like Sweetwater are also in the same situation. Now, I did hear back from the California Department of Public Health, and they said there was a delay in getting those tests shipped because of weather, but that just today, 1.5 million tests were delivered to their warehouse, and they will be shipped out immediately.
All right, Shannon, thanks. New tonight, County Health is warning about a possible tuberculosis exposure at Sequan Casino.
Health officials say the person may have exposed customers and employees at the casino between April 1st of 2021 to December 9th.
County Health is now working with the casino to notify people who were potentially exposed. National City Library will distribute 1,000 test kits on a first-come, first-served basis tomorrow morning. This is a partnership between city leaders and county health. Tests will be limited to 1 per person and will be handed out between 8 a.m. and noon. While this is a drive-through event, people will also be allowed to walk up and get that COVID test. As state lawmakers return to work, several anti-vaccine mandate rallies were held across California today, including one here in San Diego. Dubbed the Let Them Choose rally, people who attended are pro-choice when it comes to getting vaccinated. They met at Balboa Park to send a peaceful message to state representatives, asking them to protect personal belief exemptions.
The FDA is authorizing vaccine boosters for children ages 12 to 15 years old. The agency also said that everyone 12 and older can get their 3rd dose of the Pfizer vaccine 5 months after their 2nd dose rather than 6 months. They also authorized a 3rd dose for certain immunocompromised children ages 5 to 11. Well, there is definitely a lot of confusion surrounding California's new COVID isolation recommendations, which are different than the CDC's. The CDC, you might remember, said last week that you can come out of isolation 5 days after testing positive.
And you had to wear a mask. But a few days later, California said the same thing, except that you also need to have a negative test result first. Our political reporter Morgan Reiner has more on how the confusion and the changes are all playing out.
People in the business community told me that they are pleased the isolation period was shortened, saying it could be the difference between whether a business survives or not. Epidemiologists told me this decision is both practical and backed by science. It's the testing where things get a bit complicated.
I've just never seen anything like it in all my years.
46 years to be exact. That's how long Rebecca Llewellyn has owned and operated Payco Specialties, a small business that paints roads across the state.
I don't know how small business will survive. I mean, we're at a critical time in history.
Up until today, she thought her employees still needed to quarantine for 2 weeks if they tested positive.
The shorter time would help me.
Case in point, why the California Chamber of Commerce Policy Director Robert Mutry is happy with the changes.
We're glad to see that coming from federal and state.
But he has concerns, starting with the need for a negative test before leaving isolation, which the CDC does not require.
Testing is a supply issue. That may make this shorter quarantine duration less accessible to businesses when it should be, and that may particularly weigh on those facing a labor shortage.
UC Berkeley infectious disease Dr. John Swartzberg acknowledges the struggle to get the tests, but said the negative test in a perfect world is a positive step.
I think California made a better decision than the CDC.
He adds, though, that those who are boosted should not be in the same category as those who are not vaccinated.
For people who are not vaccinated, who get infected, they're going to shed virus for a longer period of time.
But both he and Dr. Jeffrey Klossner added, this is a balance game.
We really can't effectively entirely control the spread of infection. 5 days will, reduce forward transmission in about 90% or more of cases. From a public health perspective, that's probably enough, and I agree with that. I agree with a more pragmatic, middle-of-the-road approach.
In an interview with ABC News over the weekend, Dr. Fauci said he is considering adding a testing requirement before coming out of isolation. That would make the California guidelines and the federal guidelines line up.
Morgan, thank you. Well, the surge in COVID cases is continuing to impact air travel. Thousands of flights nationwide continue to see cancellations and delays, including right here in San Diego. And this all comes as airlines deal with COVID-related sick calls. Winter storms in the Northeast and Midwest definitely adding to the problem as well. So be sure to check ahead for any cancellations or delays if you are flying out of San Diego International Airport, or if you're heading over there to pick someone up. We have a link to check the status of flights. Just go to our website, cbs8.com, and click on the help button.
State Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez is resigning from her position representing San Diego's 80th Assembly District. Gonzalez tweeted that she is leaving for a new position, leading one of California's biggest unions, the California Labor Federation. She tweeted that the move will allow her to continue her life's commitment to serve and empower working Californians. The group Reform California announced today it has filed an ethics complaint against Gonzalez. We will have more on this story tonight at 11.
Local leaders are denouncing hate graffiti found spray painted on the campus of San Diego Academy in Encinitas over the weekend.
Now, North County leaders and members of the community are taking a stand against any potential threats to Black and LGBTQ students.
So I just want to say that as the mayor, in the strongest possible terms, I and the city of Encinitas condemns the racist, homophobic slurs that were graffitied on our city's only public high school.
It's a two-shot.
Administrators at San Diego say they plan to review any surveillance footage to try and figure out who is responsible for the graffiti and the hate crime. The sister of a woman who died on a ranch near Idlewild 2 days before Christmas is speaking out about her death.
It's the same ranch where former La Jolla millionaire D.A. Abrams went missing in 2020. As News 8's David Gofferson reports, the Riverside Sheriff's Department says the death of Jody Newkirk is suspicious.
My sister was an outdoors woman. She was a horse trainer.
46-year-old Jody Newkirk died on the Bonita Vista Ranch near Idlewild just after sunset on December 23, 2021. She had been working on the Mountain Center property as a ranch hand for the past 4 months, taking care of the horses. Her sister, Kelly Berkowitz, spoke to Jody the day before she died.
She was up in the mountains and she loved being in nature, and she spent all day outside. So she really felt like she had gotten her dream job.
The Bonita Vista Ranch is the same ranch where former La Jolla millionaire Dia Abrams mysteriously went missing a year and a half ago. Her body was never found, and nobody has been charged with a crime in that case. Abrams' boyfriend, Keith Harper, is still living on the ranch where Jody died.
He was her boss. He's the one who gave her direction and told her what needed to be done.
Harper was also Jody Newkirk's landlord, as she was living in a house 10 miles away, also once owned by Dia Abrams before her disappearance.
She was paying him rent, that's right. And she was struggling. I don't think she was making what she deserved.
And it was Keith Harper who called police last month to report Jody Harper had been killed in a rollover ATV accident. Harper told sheriff investigators the woman was riding a quad during a rainstorm because she wanted to cut down a live Christmas tree.
It's definitely suspicious.
The Riverside Sheriff's Department also called the death suspicious, saying Jody's injuries did not match a rollover ATV accident. Homicide detectives are now investigating.
This was not an accident. But as far as the investigation, we know nothing. And we're just hoping that answers come from the toxicology.
Jody Newkirk was the mother of 2 teenage children who lived with their fathers.
She loved her children more than anything, and she loved her family. She should still be here with us. She was a wonderful person.
Now, Keith Harper declined to be interviewed for this report. Previously, he has denied any involvement in Dia Abrams' disappearance a year and a half ago. Now, I did reach out to him, and I did hear back from him via text message. And via text message, he told me he believes Dia Abrams was executed and her body dumped in nearby Lake Hemet. No word on that theory from the Riverside Sheriff's Department. Steve?
David, seems like there are a lot of unanswered questions. Did Jody Newkirk have any health problems that may have contributed to her death?
Jody Newkirk did not have any health problems that we know of. However, she did have a criminal history, which included use of drugs and possession of drugs. But so far, there is no indication that drugs played a role in her death, and we are waiting for the toxicology report and the autopsy to be completed.
Well, even the Sheriff's Department calling it suspicious, so a lot of work to do on this case. David, thank you.